Hey guys, welcome to episode 55, the CAT-07 rating in very challenging weather conditions, as you can see outside. We've got marginal VMC all around, here on San Bernardino, also around Ontario and also around El Monte. So not the best day to pick or to do your CAT-7 rating, I have to admit, but I'm really excited to fly, and I just have some time this evening to do so. So I thought, let's just try. I mean, it is still marginal VMC, so we are allowed to make the flight. Also, the weather is improving. I will show you in just a bit on the sectional, looking at the TAFs. And if the weather is too bad while we are departing, or even during cruise, we just turn around and head to an alternate. Either way, we are going to fly tonight. So I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.
All right, my iPad. So San Bernardino to El Monte. That's the destination airport of the CAT-7 rating here on PilotEdge. And the whole assignment here, the whole exercise, is to transition the Charlie class airspace of Ontario rather than flying above it or just avoiding it altogether. So that's new. I've never requested a transition through a class Charlie before, so that's interesting. To me, when I was studying the transcript on the PilotEdge network, and also just by thinking logically, it's kind of like having a very temporary flight following service being provided. So for this particular leg here, you request a transition where the controllers are actually guiding you, following you along your way from the east to the west. You get a squawk code and perhaps some certain altitude to fly. But that's it. And then once you leave the Charlie airspace to the west, they just assign you to they just instruct you to go VFR again and do whatever you like. So that's what I'm expecting to happen here on this flight. So kind of like a temporary or restricted or very localized flight following lag here. Well, some very, very basic navigation. I'm using the Pomona VOR to guide myself from the east to the west here. And eventually, El Monte is a Delta class airport, so we will switch away from the so-called approach controllers from Ontario, then to tower of El Monte, and say, hey, here we are, and we are inbound for a full stop. Important to note that we need to get the ADIS information before we do so, because when we sign into tower, we want to say, hey, here we are. We've got the weather. Also, as you can see, Pomona here is very near Brackett Airfield, which is a Delta class airspace. And as you can see here, looking at this particular box, that airspace goes from the surface up to, but not including, 2,700 feet. So 2,699 feet, you could say. And that's because there's a Charlie sector airspace here just on top of it, which starts at 27, as you can see, right? So that's how they separate the two. Now, the whole consideration here is we need to pick a comfortable altitude to fly, a cruising altitude. And I thought, well, first off, you could say, well, we'll just overfly the Charlie airspace, but the assignment is to transition it, so we need to stick to a cruising altitude below 5,000 feet to transition the airspace. Because we're going to the west, that needs to be 4,500, and that's also high enough for us to cross Brackett without any problem. Now, if we would fly below, if we would say 2,500 feet, then the approach controllers would need to assign us, if we cross here Pomona, in this case, we need to switch frequencies to Pomona or to Brackett Airport to talk with the tower controller and ask permission to cross the Delta airspace. That's not something that the approach controllers do. for you automatically. While you're on flight following though, and you would like to cross a Bravo or a Charlie, you're already in contact with TrackIR or with the RTCC, and in those cases the guys are all chatting together and they can coordinate your transition. But in this case, when you transition a Delta airfield, you need to be in direct contact with the tower controller, which is someone else. And usually also on a PilotEdge, it's someone else, right? Usually when, well, it depends on how busy it is. There's a controller for the non-radar stuff, tower, ground, clearance, and a controller that's doing all the radar stuff, like approach, departure, and center. So those are two different kind of worlds, you could say. So that's why it's not very helpful to fly below that 2700 feet, because then we need to switch a lot of frequencies. And I guess also if you would even suggest or request such a cruising altitude, like saying, hey, Ontario, here we are, we'd like to transition your airspace at 2500, they will say negative. We will not allow you to do that. Please fly at 4500 or above. So that's why 4,500 to me seems very safe to do. Well, you can see a lot of airspace here in the LA area, which is very, very exciting. Also in the future, I would love to look for challenges here, and there are plenty to cross or transition, overfly, or whatever these airspaces. It's really, I mean, I love these sectional charts. They're so pretty, but also just to interpret them and to use them to navigate through all those airspaces is very fun to do, I think. Anyhow, you can see Bravo airspace, right? Those more thicker blue sectors here, or related to LA, to Los Angeles Airport, Los Angeles International. And you can see here, not too far south of our flight, route, you can see those sectors already being there, starting from 8,000 to 10,000 feet. Well, obviously that's far above our cruising altitude, so not a concern to us, but still, it's very, very safe to consider all these airspaces. And also, I guess, in the real world, and that's why this particular flight or particular exercise is a bit unusual. You would always fly from your departure airport to your destination airport. Hey, well, Connie, welcome on board. You would always fly with flight following, right? Why only use flight following or request the transition from Ontario if you are flying across all these different airspaces and a lot of inbound and outbound traffic is around? It's just plain obvious that you would always fly with flight following. If this would just be a free flight on my own here on PilotEdge, I would just use and request flight following from the ground here already from San Bernardino, rather than after departure. But that's just the exercise of today, being part of the CAT-07 rating. All right, so Bravo class airspace, not a concern to us. We also have Chino here to the south of Ontario, also not a biggie. As you can see, which is also nice just to note, you can see a lot of these, they're not really that clear, but you can see that big Boeing 747 icon there. And there are many, and those depict, as you would expect, the outbound or inbound flights, the sits and the stars, I guess, of each big airport here around. And they are specifically pointed here or displayed here on the sectional for us VFR pilots to know where we can expect a lot of traffic, or otherwise, put differently, where we should not fly. And so these kind of like refer already to particular flyways, I believe. I don't know if that's the right technical term, but to help VFR pilots navigate through this very dense, airspace dense area, the FAA has made some very, very useful VFR, more localized sectional charts that help you pick the right cruising altitudes. And I can just show you one. If I have those here, I don't know. Yeah, I have those. And they are from the Las Vegas area. I guess every Bravo, or every area that has a Bravo airspace kind of airfield has such a flight chart, VFR chart, flight chart. This is the LA chart, to support VFR flights. in around these areas. So you can see here again, Ontario, same stuff, right? There's San Bernardino, and you can see in these. Oh, that's a little bit too much of a pinch out, pinch in. These blue charts or arrows show you the particular VFR routes, flyways that you should use as a VFR pilot if you would like to stay VFR and stay out of the traffic and airspace, which is very, very handy. So for example, if we would not like to transition Ontario, it would be wise for us to stay north of the airspace, as you can see, above 4,500, as you can see, right? So that's very interesting. And there's also some other stuff here going on that we're going to try out very, very soon. For example, these corridors. There's also some ways to overfly midfield the LAX airport just with a Cessna. It's incredible, even without contacting ATC at all. So that's very, very cool. Special VFR airspace, as you can see here. Los Angeles Special Flight Rules area. Very, very interesting. Never knew that that was the case. But anyway, this is a fly chart and specifically made for VFR pilots and, well, making our lives a bit easier when we're planning our VFR flights across this very dense, airspace dense area. Anyway, that's not what we're going to do today, but I'd just like to show you guys. Hey Sniper, welcome aboard. I can stay as I'm at work, but I wanted to wish you good luck with the CAT-07 and watch it tonight when I get home. Thank you, Sniper. Thanks. And good luck with your work. Yeah, I'm hoping that I will succeed today, particularly concerning the weather. As you can see, looking outside, this is not looking like VMC. And my sectional, or here my ForeFlight is telling me that we've got marginal VMC on our hands. It is improving the weather, but yeah, perhaps I'm not even going to make my destination airport today, and we need to turn back to San Bernardino or some other airport. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. What alternate airport are we going to pick? Because yeah, this is not really that great of a weather. It should be scattered, and it should be more scattered by the hour. Mostly bad visibility, like 4 statute miles or so, which is not too much. But you can see in the distance, you can see some contours there of the mountains and stuff. So yeah, we have to be very careful here. So perhaps we cannot even leave San Bernardino, and that's just it. As you know, I always fly with real world weather because I like to include weather planning in my flight. And if that means that I cannot fly, then that's just reality. All right, but in case we can depart San Bernardino, and we suddenly notice that around Ontario the weather is too bad, we need a way out, right? And the best way out is to turn back, because probably chances are you've got good weather behind you because you've been flying for that time already in VMC or marginal VMC. So I guess the most basic way to go about is to just turn back, make a 180 turn, and go back to San Bernardino. But perhaps the weather, there might be a weather front coming into San Bernardino from the east, and we might be in trouble anyway. Beatty, say, play, see. Hey, welcome on board, man. Welcome to the Uncertified Pilots. So it's better perhaps just to have a foolproof exit plan. And as you know, most of the times, perhaps all of the time, north of this mountain, of these mountains here of the LA area, it's always good weather. So thank you for following. Thanks. So Apple Valley here, El Mirage, a private airport. We've got Palmdale there. Usually it's all in the green, as you can see. Not all of the time, but usually it's good weather. Also Palm Springs might be good, but that's too far away to the east here. But what we could do, just for sake of getting us out of the soup, of weather soup, of bad weather, bad visibility, is just turn north. And for example, go to Hesperia here, that airport that we already used for an emergency landing some time ago. Just to get out of the weather, of the bad weather, and stay there and depart some other day. Well, in that case, we need to be very, very careful of terrain, because obviously there's a lot of mountain here, and high mountains up to 10,000 feet. So yeah, we need to be very careful here to depart, or well, we could always climb up and fly above the weather, fly above the cloud layers. We'll have a look at the meters very soon, and we can fly inbound to Apple Valley or this non-towered airport here, Hesperia. But either way, we need to go north because when we go to the south, chances are the weather is bad. Although, as you can see here in John Wayne, we've got VMC already. But still, I would like to be as quickly out of the of the weather as possible, the bad weather. And I think, just intuitively, that going north would be the best bet. But hey. I'm hoping that we can still just continue and complete this flight because I know the weather is improving. Let me show you the METARs first. So, San Bernardino, METARs, as you can see, marginal VMC, no winds, 4 statute miles of visibility, and we've got some mist, fog, scattered at 2,400, so that means that we might need to divert here, but as you can see here, combining that visibility, bad visibility with the clouds, it's very hard to see any contours or any holes here in the cloud layer for us to climb through, right? So yeah, what we could also do is just ask for a traffic pattern here first on San Bernardino, do that, and then leave to San Bernardino. We'll have to see, or to El Monte. Forecast, the TAFs are more important, or also important. We're currently at 1600 Zulu, as you can see in the top left corner. So let me see, it's the second line there in the green already, showing that the winds are going to pick up 7 knots, 6 statute miles of visibility, 3,000 feet scattered, and also at 20,000, which is not a concern to us. But you can see the weather is improving, it's getting more VMC-like. Well, the same pattern, the same thing is true for all the other airports along our route. So let's go to Ontario. METAR, you can see marginal VMC, 4 statute miles, fog, and it's broken at 3,400. Well, broken, there's even less room for us to climb through that layer. So that means that during our departure leg here, we need to climb up to 4,500 and overfly that broken layer. And chances are we have VMC on that cruising altitude, right? We've got overcast at 25,000 feet. So between 25,000 feet and that broken layer of 3,400, it's good weather. So, and that's okay for us as private pilots. We can also just overfly an overcast if we'd like to as private pilots, but then you run the risk of arriving at your destination airport, and if there's still overcast, you're stuck there because you cannot transition through that overcast, right? Because then you don't have any visual reference anymore. But still, we can overfly that broken area with no problem. And as you can see here, bracket is already turning VMC. It was marginal just a few minutes ago. METAR, currently, yeah, so no winds, 6 statute miles, haze, broken at 3,400. All right, forecast, again, 1900, second line there. Winds are picking up 10 knots, 6 statute miles, scattered 3,000, and 20,000 is not a concern to us, so 3,000. So scattery is from broken to scattered, so the cloud layers are breaking up. And also here in the Netherlands, currently it's just the evening has just started, but here in the LA area, local, it's just at night, right? It's just in the it's just in the morning. So that's why also there's a lot of cloud formation, and also that's why now when the sun rises there, the weather will gradually improve. Anyway, this is okay. Still risky though, in terms also of a real world flight, you need to have a lot of experience, I guess, to fly, or not even consider flying at all. Okay, Bates, I will call you Bates. Welcome, a future airliner pilot, welcome on board as well. It's going to be an exciting flight, guys. All right. So in terms of weather, this is fine. We could also go into the weather charts. I'm not going to, because this is still relatively a local flight, and we've got also inspected the TAFs, which are very local and, well, pretty reliable locally for this area. Still, you need to be very careful though. But I think this is fine. As an alternate, we're going to go north, and we can then pick an alternate airport. We've got plenty of those. Although I would love to have a VOR that we can fly to, although just a plane heading up to north will eventually bring us in VMC. And also, even in this flight, we know for sure based on the METARs that above 3,500 or so, we've got VMC weather. So in that case, we don't run the risk of getting into the soup. It's mostly depends on the departure here. If we can get up above 3,500 with no problem, under VFR, then we can probably finish our flight. We've got scattered here and El Monte. Did I check those? No, I didn't share that with you guys. Observation not available for El Monte. That's unfortunate. Let me see. The top line is 1131 Zulu, so that's already old, outdated. The second one is at 2000 Zulu, 2000 Zulu. It's now 1600. So as you can see, it's getting VMC. And 600 miles and scattered 4,000. So that gives us some room to fly. But I guess we're gonna surf some clouds there to get our departure and arrival going. So that's gonna be exciting, guys. We'll have to see. And also for a CAT-07 rating, that's not a real combination here. Also to have this additional weather challenge, but that might be fun. And also failure is not real failure. It's just learning. That's the great advantage of simulation flying. Either way, we're going to learn something. So that's the spirit of the uncertified pilot, at least. Okie doke. So that's weather planning. Let me see what ForeFlight is telling me of the about the flight. 49 nautical miles, 9 gallons. I have refueled, so that's enough. 30 minutes. We've got a 10 knot headwind. Well, that's just life. This is our nav log, which I'm going to stick to. I have my plates. This is still this Palomar. No, I don't want Palomar. I want San Bernardino, which is not that much of an exciting airport. It's just one runway, which I love. I love one airports with just a single runway, plain and simple. We're near the tower, so that means that we are currently over there, and what we're going to request is a departure to the east. Why? Because we need altitude first. So as you can see, the Delta class airspace of San Bernardino is very close to that of the class Charlie airspace of Ontario. And before we can enter the class Charlie, we need to have permission to do so. And so I would first like to get on altitude, also just to resolve or to get through these cloud layers, but also to give us some time to contact approach and get that permission to cross the transition, to transition the airspace. So that's why. So we're going to fly to Redlands. It's a non-towered airport, very, very nearby. While we're circling to 4,500, then we're going to contact approach and say, here we are, and then we're going to transition. That's the whole idea. So that means, well, we'll just have to see what kind of runway we're going to get. Either way, a right or a left downwind to get to the east, or just a straight out from 06. Okay, and I would also like to have already El Monte, which is also a airport with just one runway, and it's got enough length here, 4,000. That's good. Very basic. 1 and 1.9, and nothing else that we need to be very serious about, I guess. Yeah, 1901. Okay. Okay, so those are the frequencies. We've got fuel. We know what we need to do. Wait a minute. Balance is not a concern to us. Okay, we can finally start, guys. Let's do it. Hey, Felix, welcome. Welcome on board. Also, guys, have you seen this? I don't know. I guess I was in front of it, but let me show you. Oh, no, you can see the set clock sticky note that I just put there because I'm always forgetting my clock. Let's not forget it today. Somehow it doesn't stick. Also, I've been flying with this sticker already, and I see that sometimes I do still forget, and that's because I think I need to remove this sticky note somewhere to here, because every time when I need to switch, change the OBS or my heading bug, that's the time when I need to think, oh, that's the time when I'm turning and I need to reset my clock. I'm just not looking to that I'm just ignoring this particular. I'm looking to the clock, so I think I should move this one somewhere over here, so I get reminded to set the clock while I'm changing the dials here. Makes sense, I think. Anyway, let's go, guys. Let's start up. If I'm right, yeah, it's 5:15 here in Amsterdam, so that means that the PilotEdge guys are already here. Okay. Pido. Tube cover removed. Wheel chocks removed. Let me see, was it already set? Yeah, I should remove that. Parking brakes are set. Fire extinguisher is there, as prevents in the green. Door closed, windows closed. LT is set to auto. Cabin air is open, flaps lever is up, and the flaps are actually up as well. Levers are in sync. Does my trim work? Yes. Fuel tanks, set those to both. Cutoff is not cut off. Alternate is closed. This stuff is all set, off, on, and this is all good. Circuit breakers are not popped out, and this is a sync as well. Beacon is on. Good. Then, batteries on. You can see we have, at least looking at the fuel gauge, we got enough gallons there, so that's good. I'm going to test the lights, certainly now with this weather. So landing lights on, taxi lights, nav lights, beacon is already on, and the pido heat is on. Let's go outside and have a look. Taxi light, landing lights, position lights, strobe light there as well. Beacon is on, the position light is on as well. Good. And I would like to see the pido tube as well. And it's hot. Cool. It's working. Because chances are, I don't know how cold it is here, but if we would fly into moist with freezing conditions, then icing could be a risk. And that's why I like to know what that the pido heat is actually working. What's the current temperature? It's 10 degrees, so the 4,500. Hey, Scotty, welcome. Okay, so let's move on. Avionics on, flaps down. We've got full illumination there. Still set the VFR tests, working as well. Back to off, we're going to set that soon. Annunciator panel works, and this is all set, and still circuit breakers have not popped out. As good as well. Avionics off, batteries off. The one thing that I didn't check was whether the flaps went down in sync. We'll have to look and inspect the control arm soon, but that's something that I'm just going to check for, just for making very sure that it does work. This depletes the battery. Well, not really depletes it, but it does take up some considerable power here. Is it looking good? All right. Batteries off, and let's also do some flight control test here. Oh, other way around. That one goes down, that one goes up, that one goes down, and that one goes up. Elevator, up, down. Good. Trim wheel, I can see it moving. And the rudders work as well. Good. Then we're going to do our exterior walk around. Again, not obstructed. Baggage door closed. Tie down removed. Very closely looking here. Again, I've got a cheat sheet here of the A2A 172 on the uncertifiedpilot.com website as a free download. Have a look. Connected. Looks good. There's a wiggle of the trim tab. Flaps have a wiggle. Control arm is in place and secure. Ailerons are connected as well. Tie down is removed. Wear and tear, okay. Sump, no water, good color. Confirms our fuel gauge. Fuel, I replenished the engine oils, so that's good. Good color again. Sump at the engine, good color, no water in it. Prop. Propeller blades are intact. Intakes are clear. Static air, clear. Fuel is good. And confirms our fuel gauge. No water, good color. Wear and tear is okay. Stall warning. Fuel vent is clear. Ailerons. Connected. That's good too. Wiggle of the flaps looks good as well. And everything is secure. Good. That means we've got a healthy Cessna and we are ready to go. Guys, the weather doesn't look good. Perhaps it's better to first do a traffic pattern before we're gonna fly out to Ontario and El Monte, because it doesn't seem to allow, doesn't seem to give us any spacing here to climb through the cloud layer. Well, we'll have to see just to make sure. What was the cloud layer here on the ForeFlight? The altitude, I mean, METAR. It's got a 2,400. We're currently at 1200. But the METARs are AGL, right? Are the METARs AGL or MSL? I thought it was AGL. I thought it's AGL. Okay, so that means that we've got plenty of room even to do a traffic pattern in the first place. And the airport elevation here is 1200. So that means that we've got a 2200 traffic pattern. We can just do one. And then when we exit the runway, we can contact ground and saying, hey, we'd like to do our CAT-07 rating. Could you just revert us back to the runway and we'll depart anyway? I think that's okay. METAR is always AGL. Thanks, Felix. Hey, Cloud, welcome. All right. So, first traffic pattern, guys. What do you think? Should we? I think that's best. I mean, we could also just depart San Bernardino. We could also just depart San Bernardino and just stay a bit low. And if the weather is really that bad, we could just turn around and ask for a landing anyway. Otherwise, we're stuck with the traffic pattern. Also in the case when the weather is just fine. That's better. Scotty, yeah, you think traffic pattern is better? Perhaps it's a little bit unnecessary because we can also just fly straight out and if the weather is too bad, we just turn around anyway. Let me know, guys, what you think. All right, we've got a healthy Cessna on our hands. Seatbelts closed. Close the door. Window remains open. Good. So, what are we going to do? What we're going to do is, depending on what you guys think. Oh, yeah. Okay, Scotty. So, let's do that then. A straight out departure to the east. So, while we depart, we make sure that the weather is okay. We can circle, we can do whatever around Redlands there while climbing. And if the weather is too bad, we just return to San Bernardino, and that is it. And we'll cancel our CAT-07 rating in the air. Otherwise, we're going to depart here on San Bernardino, and we're going to contact approach because we like to transition Ontario airspace. Well, what frequency do we need? Well, then we're going to go to Ontario, I guess, and head over to the frequencies. Details, just give me, yeah. Approach. And we got different approach controls as usual with big airports. Well, what approach controller do we need? Well, we're coming in from the northeast, east-northeast, so that means that we need to 127.25. 127.25, and that would be SoCal approach. Okay, so a departure to the east. We're going to go to 4,500. We're climbing, and while we're climbing, we make sure that the weather is okay. If we can transition through the cloud layer, we're fine, I guess. And then while we're climbing, or when we are at 4,500, I say, hey, Ontario, here we are, 10 miles to the east at 4,500, requesting to transition the airspace to El Monte. That's the idea, the drill, I guess, and just we'll see what happens. We get a squawk code, and then we're on our way. And when we're on our way, we can fly inbound to Pomona, right? Yeah, that's okay. Perhaps we get a more specific instruction to stay north of Ontario, which in this case would be fine. Perhaps we need to go south. We'll just have to see. Whatever happens. Hey Steeler, goedenavond. Welcome on board. Okay. And then ADIS, and then we are at El Monte. Okay, that's the plan. Then, once more, let's check. Batteries are off and avionics are off. That's very important. Let's check the brakes. Brakes released. confirm, reset, fuel tanks are set to both. Good. Let's prime the engine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut off, throttle a bit in. And let's see if there's no one outside here at the propeller area. Nope. So clear prop. Mixture full in. Back to both. 1200. Engine oil pressure is coming up. Generator on. Avionics on. Flaps up. Let's lean the mixture. And reset to 1000. Put on our virtual headphones, much better. And turn on our transponder, saying, hey, PilotEdge, here we are. Okay, everything is looking good. Let's now tune the frequencies. So, what we need is first navigation. We have Pomona. Let me just peek here. That is 110.4. I'm going to set it in the nav 1. 110.4. Switch to the active. Good. And we need to fly inbound a heading of something that is 254. 255. 255. 255. Good. That's the only radio navigation that we need, so that's good, but we have something else, I remember suddenly. El Monte also has an ADF. Yay! Let's use an ADF. 359. How does that work? I guess like this? Yes. Interesting. 359. Is there an inner button and an outer button? How does that work? 3. How can I use the? How can I change the middle number? 3. Not there. Not there. To the left, to the right. I can't. Guys, does anyone know in the A2A Cessna 172 or just a real Bendix here stack how I should pull the knob? Pull the knob. Thanks. All right. So 3. 3, 5, and then pull it again. 9. 359. Do we have a reading here? Not yet. I guess when we are in the air. And there's nothing else that I need to do with this thing, right? ADF, click. And ADF. I guess it should be just ADF. Interesting. Yeah, thanks guys. Daniel, Felix, Claude, thank you for the help. Okay, so that is set in terms of radio navigation, so that is good. Frequencies. So El Monte, no, not El Monte, San Bernardino. 8 is 124.175. From my head, I know that there is no ATIS, but only a WAS. So it doesn't really matter that much in terms of wind, but let's have a listen anyway. COM2. 124, I just saw 124.175. COM2. Switch them.
Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta, automated weather observation. 1623, Zulu. Wind, calm. Visibility, 3. Sky condition, 2,900.
Okay.
Ceiling, 3.
Scattered.
400. Overcast.
That's not good.
10 Celsius. Dew point, 4 Celsius. Altimeter, 3000. Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta.
Overcast is not something that we can climb through. Now that might be just very local weather. No, that's not the one that I wanted. Yeah, it's just bad weather all around. Because what we could do, we could fly a little bit more to the north here rather than to Redlands. We can go all the way up here or here, because chances are there is no overcast over there, then climb up and then go back. But ah, damn it, why do we have overcast all of a sudden? What we're going to do is just a straight out, and we're going to have to look to see if we see a window, and if not, we're going to return to San Bernardino. That's the advantage of only asking for the, or not really an advantage though, but we need to contact SoCal Approach after departure. So if the weather is too bad, we don't need to contact them at all, and we just contact San Bernardino once more at the tower and saying, sorry, we need to cancel our flight intentions there, we're going to head back. And that's just it. And we can give it another try tonight, perhaps. Jack, what is that called on your tab? On what tab? Let me know what you mean. Communications. So, plates, let's head back. Do I have one here? No, I don't have one here. San Bernardino. We've got ground 121.8. Yeah, that was already set. Tune in. And tower is 119.45. Good. Tablet, that map. Well, this is ForeFlight, and I have all kinds of maps here that I can use to that aids my my flight. But we are referring to a specific map, or perhaps someone else on the chat can help you as well. We've got a lot of knowledgeable pilots here on the chat. All right, so those are the frequencies.
November 143 Bravo Mike.
Departure frequency will be 127.25, but that's us.
And your request.
And that's about it. ATIS for El Monte I'd like to set already, which is 118.75.
November 143 Bravo Mike, roger. Maintain VFR, and advise when you have the El Monte weather.
118.75. Good. So that's set as well.
November 87
Fly
Juliet Alpha,
inbound.
radar contact. Say altitude.
Seems good, seems good, seems good. All right.
Climbing 1,500.
Engine is getting warm already.
November 87 Juliet Alpha, thank you. Contact. SoCal departure.
Order departure, 87 Juliet Alpha.
Eastbound departure. And we've got the weather. We don't have any weather code, right? Because, well, somehow here on Prepared, we don't have any ATIS. We're near the tower with the weather.
November 87 Juliet Alpha, SoCal departure. Burbank altimeter
Departure to the
3000.
east.
Resume on navigation, maintain VFR and
With the
appropriate
CAT-07
VFR
rating.
altitudes.
San Bernardino ground, good day. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Any Mike near the tower with the weather. Requesting a departure to the east with flight following. Oh, negative on the flight following. Sorry, just a departure to the east with the CAT-07 rating. Got a mistake
November
there.
143 Bravo Mike, roger. Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, I got Cessna Skyhawk requesting VFR departure, CAT-07. What's your destination?
Yeah, Papa Hotel, yeah, we're Cessna Skyhawk here near the tower. We'd like to depart to the east with no flight following, but just a departure to the east for the CAT-07 rating, if that's okay. We've got the weather.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, San Bernardino ground, not a problem. Runway 6, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 6 via Alpha for Papa Hotel Tango Mike, thanks. Man, that was sloppy. But okay. Alright, 6 via Alpha, so that means we need to go to the right. Alpha is just in front of us, so that's plain and simple.
Over 702 Delta. going-
We've got all our frequencies set. We're ready to
clear.
go. Engine is all warm already, warm enough for a power check, so that's good too. Let's go.
Copy that. I want.
Brake test. Good.
Over 702 Delta, say again.
November 70 Delta. Requesting for the I1 rating.
Good luck on the I-1. I don't have a flight plan for you. Actually, I'm sorry. The flight plan I have for you is John Wayne to Palomar, correct?
Alpha is crossing here. This is Alpha 1. So
November
this is going to
70
be
Delta.
Alpha.
Okay, you want to...
6 is going to the left here, so we need to go to the right.
At this point, you want to go double check the requirements for the I-1?
No, November 70 Delta. Short. 1 second.
And there we go. All right. Will there be some room for us to climb to 4,500? I don't think so, guys. Unfortunately, we have to see. Sorry for that. Run up area in front of us. Alpha 6 confirms. Let's turn around a bit. Alrighty, just reset to 1,000. Engine is already in the warm, as you can see. Close the window. Make sure full in. 1800s. No unshaded messages. Good pressure. Everything in the green. Left looks good. Back to both. Right. Back to both. Good. Landing lights on. We've got a dip and a charge. Back to idle. Again, still oil pressure. No unshaded messages. Everything seems to be stable. Back to 1,000. Good. Final check. Down, up, down, up. Elevators. And rudder work as well. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is depart here. Oh my god, look at this weather, guys. This is not going to be right. This is not VMC. And also, because we have such bad visibility, there might be even a chance that we cannot find San Bernardino anymore when we just departed and turn around. Let me just check San Bernardino here, because we've got some terrain in front of us, which is kind of dangerous. Which is at 4,000. I mean, how many miles is this? That's 6 miles already. Well, 6 miles, 500 feet. We can get to 6 times 500, 3,000 feet or so, which is not enough to overfly this terrain. But I guess we climb a bit faster.
Approach 135.4. Good morning.
And we have overcast. Let's listen to ATIS once more.
Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta, automated weather observation, 1634, Zulu. Wind, calm. Visibility, 3. Sky condition, 2,900
Overcast.
2.4 Celsius. Altimeter 300.
Guys, what should we do?
Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta. Automated
Because-
weather observation.
Yeah. The original plan was just to go
Good morning, Ontario. Altimeter
to go straight out and just have a look at the weather while we're departing. But because we have such bad visibility already, which I should have thought about before we even started the flight. Obviously, when we departed, we might get lost and not find San Bernardino when we do a turnaround. So I guess it's better just to cancel our CAT-07 rating attempt here and just do a traffic pattern first. Also, I know that the weather is improving. So what we could do now, I'm not changing the weather. I'm always flying in real weather. That's not what we're going to do.
Mr. T Delta. I rethought that flight planning also changed my aircraft equipment stuff.
Quick look at the TAFs. Yeah,
Number 702 Delta, are you familiar with tech routes?
The weather is improving. What we could do, guys, is the following. Just do traffic patterns.
Okay, do you understand that those are required when they're available?
And I will do the flights in a few hours.
John Wayne doesn't necessarily
after
have
dinner.
a tech route per se. However,
I think that is better to do.
Plan you filed, there is a mandatory tech route. And those were always going to be required. Do you really expect to fly the Anaheim departure all the way out to Tandy for a local IFR flight back to John Wayne?
And number 702 Delta. Copy that. Then on the iRating page, it never said that you use tech routes. So I'll definitely follow those tech routes and get back to you.
Now again, listen to what I'm saying to you. Hang on just one moment, okay?
Marcus is going to lecture here.
The previous flight plan you sent to me was between John Wayne and Palomar. For that flight plan, there would be a mandatory tech route. For what you're flying now, there's not going to be one because you don't have tech routes back to the original departure airport. However, my question is, do you really expect to fly the Anaheim 8 departure, and then the Tandy arrival all the way out to Tandy back for a local IFR flight?
Number 702 Delta, not really.
Okay, what would be logical to you at this point?
Marcus is not in a good mood today.
Guess what? A tech route for original departure airport that I followed before.
Okay, there is no tech route for local IFR. Local IFR meaning taking off and departing at the same airport. Doesn't matter what airport you're at. Local IFR will never have a tech route. But my question is, do you really want to fly the Tandy arrival for local IFR?
Just got the discussion, Marcus.
For local IFR.
Number 702. No, I don't.
Okay. Point number 2. Look at the Anaheim departure procedure. You'll see a note on there that says not available for turbojet aircraft or piston-driven aircraft only. Right?
Yeah, he is trying, Scotty, I know. And it's a network about learning, so this is all good. This shouldn't resist you.
Delta, I see that.
You have to read the notes before you fly a procedure to make sure that you qualify for them, okay? I'll give you another shot.
Thank you, number 702 Delta.
Number 87 Juliet Alpha, no traffic between you and Fullerton at this time. Radar services are terminated. Squawk and maintain VFR and frequency change is approved. Over 143 Bravo Mike, same goes for you. No traffic between you and El Monte at this time. Radar services are terminating. Contact El Monte Tower 121.
Scotty. Yeah, I know. I was also very nervous in the first tries that I did on PilotEdge. I was really sweating, which again confirms how real PilotEdge, or what realism PilotEdge adds to your flight simulation experience. I mean, this is real.
Fullerton Tower, Cessna H60.
Anyway, I would like to cancel my CAT-07 rating here just to traffic patterns, guys, because this is not the way to go, even in flight simulation world.
Number 87 Juliet Alpha, Fullerton Tower, good morning.
Let's just do a close traffic here.
I did. 87 Juliet Alpha.
The A2C sweats, yeah, Scott.
Number 143 Bravo Mike. El Monte Tower ident. Number 87 Juliet Alpha, thank you sir, and a right base, runway 24, cleared to land, wind calm.
Right base 24, 87 Juliet Alpha.
Number 143 Bravo Mike El Monte Tower, thank you sir, enter left base, runway 19er, cleared to land.
San Bernardino Tower, Sky Pop Hotel Tango, and your mic is holding short runway 6 at Alpha. We'd like to cancel our CAT-07 attempt here due to bad weather. We just like to do close traffic here, if that's okay.
Papa Hotel Tango and your mic, that's certainly at your discretion. You can always set your weather to how you need to complete the exam. Just confirm your request.
No, we're not going to reset the weather here. We'd like to do some close traffic flying here on the San Bernardino, please.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, not a problem. Runway 6. Runway 1, correction, November, correction, let me start again. Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, San Bernardino Tower, runway 6. Cleared for takeoff. Make right traffic and report midfield.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 6, and for right traffic, and we'll report midfield each time. For Robert Tattoo Mike, thank you. Okay. Yeah, better choice, better be safe than sorry. We did our checks here, we're ready to go, engine is still warm, good. Landing lights on, strobe lights on. I'm also going to turn my navigation lights on just to be more bright and visible. Parking brakes released. No other traffic here, no other traffic on the runway. Let's have a look at the final here just to make sure. Doesn't seem like it. Nope. Alright, again, mixture full in, trim is set, fuel tank set to both, lights are on.
Whiteman ground, Skycatcher
and we are
30263.
Mentally ready.
Right
Right traffic.
Ready to taxi with information Romeo for a
heading indicator aligns. Full power.
30263 Whiteman ground, runway 12, taxi via Alpha.
Engine in the green.
Taxi
Airspeed is alive.
via Alpha, Skycatcher
40.
30263.
50 and 60 rotates. I think even the traffic pattern is gonna get exciting, guys. Not too much nose up. Again, we're now getting at an altitude where if the engine quits on us, we need to pick a landing spot in front of us. Let's make that a habit from now on. It's going to be somewhere over there to the right. Traffic pattern altitude is at 2200, so 300 feet below. It's 1900, we're going to start our crosswind leg to the right. There it comes up. No one to the right. Let's make the turn. Shallow turn. Because we're still climbing. Good. Good speed. There comes our traffic pattern altitude. Push down on that yoke. And we can increase our turn here because we're not climbing anymore. There goes our speed. Turn back the power. We can already make that turn to downwind. And make that a standard rate turn. And we'll report midfield once we're midfield. Not too much nose down here. There we are. Align ourselves with the runway. And that is confirmed.
Papa Hotel Tango Eddie Mike. Runway 6 cleared for the option.
Cleared for the option runway 6 for Papa Hotel Tango Mike. And a proactive controller who's not that busy. Man, what a conversation that was earlier with the other guy. But I guess the whole A2C sweat, like Scotty referred to, that anxiety is so healthy and also makes your first call with A2C so memorable. And it's, I think, I don't know for sure because I'm not a real world pilot, but I think it's the exact same anxiety that you would have as a real world student pilot flying in the real world. First notch of flaps. Again, confirming how PilotEdge can really prepare you for real world flying or real world ATC. So imagine having overcome that anxiety or even developed confidence with ATC here virtually on the PilotEdge network in Flight Sim, how that prepares you for your real world training, and also
Bravo Mike taxi into the ramp via Alpha, stay on the frequency.
Prevents you spending a lot of hours, expensive hours on flying in the real world, just practicing ATC. That stuff you can do very cheaply here on in Flight Simulator. Making that turn to base, already clear to land. Still
Live Tower, Skycatcher
make sure full in is still.
Holding short of runway 12. Request left downwind departure.
Good speed for next second notch of flaps.
Whiteman Tower, runway 12 cleared for takeoff. Left downwind departure is approved.
There we are. We can
cleared for takeoff. Runway 12. Skycatcher
keep our turn going a little bit high.
And number 3 Bravo Mike, nice job on the CAT-07. I've submitted the result already.
Oh, thanks very much. Have a good day. 143 Bravo Mike.
Got plenty of room here. Whoop. A little bit late on that turn. Again, when you're going down here like this with 20 degrees of flaps, make sure that your speed never exceeds this white band, because then you might rip off your flaps. Alright, there we go. Let's see if we can do some nice touchdowns here. Trimming up, trimming up, trimming up, trimming up. Helps making the yoke less sensitive. There goes the speed, good. A little bit more power there, so we not stall above the runway yet. There we go. Nose up. Throttle to idle. Not bad. Flaps up. And there we go. Full power. Right rudder adjustments. Airspeed alive. Engine is still in the green. And rotates. Nose down trim here now. And there we go once more. 1900 feet. Again, in terms of a rejected takeoff, we're gonna fly to the right. It seems that the visibility issue is actually getting less worse, guys. Scotty, it really shows how important the prep work is. Yeah, it is. It is. But that means that the TAFs are right, which usually is the case, and that the weather is improving, and that there might be a window for us to redo our CAT-07 attempt this evening, after dinner in my case. Making that turn, traffic pattern, altitude is coming up. Pushing down on that yoke, we can increase our turn here. Let's go a little bit farther away this time. Something like this. Downwind. A little bit nose up here. Good. And there is downwind. And the runway parallel confirmed. No need to climb here. Almost midfield. Perhaps Marcus is going to spot us already. San Bernardino Tower, Sky Papa Hotel Tango Mike is midfield for a full stop this time.
Papa Hotel Tango Mike, runway 6, clear to land.
Clear land, runway 6, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. ...100 feet too high. Not a big issue, but I like to be a little bit more tight here. Again, would be cool if we could make that taxiway straight up to tower. So let's not. We could extend our downwind, so we are much more on the glide slope than the last run. Or we could already start the descent right now here, which is also okay. So that we touch down just behind the threshold line there. And we have enough time to hit our brakes. A little bit less power. Yeah, the weather is improving. That's good to see. But suddenly there was overcast. Here on San Bernardino. Okay, keeping my speed there in the wide band. Good. Got some time to go here, like we did on the crosswind. And the second notch of flaps. This is a better lag here. Good. Still a bit too high. There we go. A little bit of a turn there. Nose up trim, nose up trim.
Clearance. Cessna 87 Juliet
Watch
Alpha.
that speed.
Tight Charlie 172 slant golf. Request flight following to Fullerton at 3,000 feet with Sierra.
Sky 87 Juliet Alpha, Burbank clearance. On departure, proceed southeast bound towards the Rose Bowl. Maintain VFR below 3,000. Departure frequency 134.2, squawk 7266.
Get that speed below 60 this time.
Towards the Rose Bowl, at or below 3,000. Departure.
I'd like to hear that stall horn sound.
Juliet Alpha. Request the CAT-9.
Grade 7 Juliet Alpha, readback is correct. Good luck.
All right, it's a little bit more nose up trim here. There we go. Could go full flaps here, but I guess it's not really that necessary.
Number 30263, SoCal approach, go ahead.
Better, better, better. Nose up, nose up. Good, good. Yeah, that sound happens when I'm using my rudder.
263, the Burbank altimeter 3000, squawk 6357.
No braking at this time, just keep some speed in so we can leave the runway as quickly as possible. Also not already setting my mixture to ground because there might be a scenario here where I need to take off because of traffic here on the runway or whatever.
Burbank ground. Cessna 87 Juliet Alpha on the southwest ramp. Request taxi with Sierra.
There we go, Alpha 1.
Number 87 Juliet Alpha Burbank ground, runway 8, taxi
Leaning
via
the mixture
Charlie.
right now.
Runway via Charlie 87 Juliet Alpha.
After behind the threshold line, reset to 1,000. Perhaps Marcus is going to spot us already. Landing lights off, strobe lights off. Let's open a window. Okay. Yeah. Alpha 1. San Bernardino Tower, Sky Papa Hotel Tango Mike is clear runway 06 at Alpha 1, ready to taxi to the tower here in front of us.
Papa Hotel Tango Mike, taxi into the ramp via Alpha and stay on this frequency.
Via Alpha to the ramp, it will stay on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. Okay, thanks for the follow, Jaco. Thanks. And there we are again, guys. Back to San Bernardino. Sorry, yeah, we're only flying in real world weather. And that's also very educational, at least in my opinion. Even though we did not make our destination airport, it involved some aeronautical decision making. To some degree. To some degree.
Negative on the radar contact. Verify squawk is 6357. And your transponder set to altitude, please.
You can see it's clearly overcast. There might be there's some spot there to climb through, but that's not really a responsible thing to do right now. Also, the visibility is improving. That's good.
Number 30263, thanks. Radar contact 15 miles east of the Fillmore VOR. Maintain VFR.
That should also have been a more relevant or more explicit conscious consideration for me when I decided to do this flight in the first place, because I was aware of the cloud ceilings, but was not really considering the bad visibility.
Runway 8 ready to go.
Number 7 Juliet Alpha, Burbank Tower, wind.
There we are. And magnetos set to off. Batteries off. Good. Park and brake set. Headphones off. Let's open the door. Prevent cross-feeding. Good. Pitot tube cover. And let's also put on some wheel chucks. Good. Okie doke. Back where we started, guys. And that's just it. FSX, why didn't you make the plan destination? Well, because of weather. Because of bad weather. And it was overcast. And looking at the METARs, there was a scattered cloud layer. And I thought, well, we could easily climb through a scattered cloud layer, right? There might be some spacing there. Some space for us to climb through. But suddenly, when we were listening to the ADIS here, or AWAS here on Prepared, I was hearing an overcast. And that's also why it's important, I guess, also for us flight simulation pilots to not only rely on the ForeFlight METARs here, but also listen to the ADIS or AWAS, because the flight simulation weather here, or the weather in flight simulator, flight simulator might be a little bit off from ForeFlight in this case, as you just noticed. So and that whole idea of the overcast made the flight kind of impossible, because as VFR pilots we cannot transition through an overcast layer. What we could have done is flown a little bit to we could have flown to Banning here, running the risk that we might lose sight of any airport, because we've also got bad visibility, like 4 statute miles when we just started our departure, and that was a too great of risk there of getting lost in the mist, in the soup, which is not which is a thing that I should avoid at all time. So that was the reason why I decided when we were holding short at 06 to not complete the flight, because of the bad weather, even though the weather is improving, as you can see already. So perhaps tonight the weather might be better, just in a few hours. The TAFs for Ontario and for Brackett are showing VMC, so perhaps we might have green flight category depictions here along our flight, which would be great, and we can do another attempt at the CAT-07. Either way, as I already pointed at the beginning, or already suggested at the beginning of the flight, no matter what, we always learn something new. No flight, and every flight you can learn something. And I hope that's the case for you guys as well, looking at this particular episode. Although we didn't reach our destination airport, El Monte, we're going to do that very, very soon. Guys, thank you once more for joining me here on this flight on board at the Uncertified Pilot. If you're not following me, hit that follow button. You get a notification as soon as I start flying again. You can jump on board, help me improve my flying. And it's also very encouraging to know that you guys are enjoying my content. I'm just sharing this stuff, not because I'm an expert, but because I am a beginner. I like to open my airplane doors here and allow as much knowledgeable passengers in as possible, to get my learning curve as steep as I possibly can, to get as quick to that instrument rating in Flight Simulator as I possibly can. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for following Alpha. Thanks. And I hope to see you very, very soon, perhaps even tonight. Follow me on Twitter, and I will tweet whether I will fly tonight, and you can be there from the start. Or if you're just following me, you get a notification. In any other case, I will fly very soon this week to get that CAT-07 rating going. I'm excited to keep that progress going on in my training program. Scotty, thank you for joining. Thank you for your tips and presence here on the channel. And guys, all the others who have been watching too, thank you again. Hoping to see you very, very soon on the Uncertified Pilot. Thanks. Happy flights and blue skies.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.